They say the best way to explore Georgetown is to get lost in it. And honestly, that's easy to do here.
Do you find it? No.
But if you're like us, short on time and still want to see the best of it, this walk might just be what you need. Before we start, let's clear up one thing that confuses a lot of visitors. Penang is the state, made up of Penang Island and Seberang Perai on the mainland. Georgetown is the capital city, right here on Penang Island, and this area we're exploring is UNESCO World Heritage Zone. Since 2008, Georgetown has been recognized for having over 1,700 historic buildings, all packed within a walkable grid of colourful shophouses, temples, and colonial landmarks. It's flat, compact, and honestly best explored on foot. So how did people from completely different worlds, Malays, Chinese, Indians, Arabs, and Europeans, come together here, live side by side, and build a city that still thrives today? We're walking through Georgetown's heritage zone to uncover how this little city became one of the most diverse, harmonious, and fascinating places in Southeast Asia. So now we're gonna go to the Esplanade, which is down there. There's a lot of seems like school kids over here. This is Pinang tree. That is how Penang, or Pulau Penang, got its name. We're now at Penang Town Hall, the oldest colonial building in Georgetown, right next to the Esplanade. That's the yellow one. Built in the late 1800s, this Victorian-style building was where British governors hosted parties and official events. Right beside it is the City Hall, completed in 1903. It was built to serve as the main municipal office, and is still used by the City Council today. The building got its name after Georgetown received city status from Queen Elizabeth II in 1957. Together, these two buildings remind us of Penang's colonial past and its role as a major British port city. So now we're at Esplanade. It's a newly built place here in Penang, and there's a lot of people dressing up as characters here as well. Look at that, there's Pikachu. You can see the skyline of Pinang. We are going to leave the Esplanade. We're gonna go walk to the fort here in Georgetown. Actually, the ruler of Penang last time was the one who asked British to come here so that they can protect them from the Siamese, which is an empire for what is now Thailand. Fort Cornwallis. So there's a complimentary water bottle. But this is the map. It's quiet in here, almost empty. This room looks a bit different. But looks like they got some construction going on over there. So there's train tracks over here. So I'll tell you some history that is from this map. They got some maps that you can take. Fort Cornwallis marks the starting point where Captain Francis Light landed in Penang on the 17th of July 1786. So this fort over here marks the starting point of his arrival here in Penang. And they came in 1786. But then for Singapore, they came in at 1819. So that means the British colonized Penang earlier than they colonized Singapore. In this fort, there are 17 cannons, and a lot of these cannons were taken from pirates who invaded the monarchy of Johor. They got many different weapons, and one of the weapons that they managed to seize was actually the Serai Rambai. This particular cannon has a very, very cool history. It was presented by the Dutch to the Sultan of Johor like 400 years ago. It was taken by the Portuguese. Let's say it was in Java, let's say it was somewhere else. It moved to a lot of places. Oh, everyone just snatching it. Before being brought back to Penang. Wow, that cannon traveled a lot. I wonder where's that cannon now? They said it's somewhere here. Oh yeah, that's what I remember. So I'm reading this, and it says that a British boat sailed in Kuala Selangor and it was attacked by pirates. So the boat sunk, a lot of the weapons also sunk, but this cannon surfaced from the sea, and then apparently it was cursed by one prince who tied a thread on his finger and ordered this cannon to always stay afloat at the sea. And it actually did. There's a Dutch sign on here. It also shows the year 1600, so they believe that that was the time that it was made. So this cannon traveled to a lot of places. The cannon is basically 400 years old, but it looks so young. You know, it's like not rusty. It's still in quite good condition. So that is a lighthouse and a flagstaff. It was built to communicate with Pinang Hill and also the incoming ships that come. Looks like we can't go in, but so you can go up this bridge, and from there I think you can see a nice overview of the fort. So you can see the amphitheater, the rooms over there, and also the walls. From here you can see the view of the road. From here you can get a really nice view. But this fort, you wouldn't need a long time here. It's quite small, honestly. Maybe an hour is just enough for this. I mean, even from standing here, I can see everything. So we're actually done with the fort. I would say the history is quite cool, quite fascinating. We're gonna go to a Peranakan museum. And if you don't know what's Peranakan, it's basically their race is actually Chinese. But they follow the Malay culture, but they are not Muslim. Also known as the Straits Chinese. They were descendants of Chinese immigrants who settled in Penang, Malacca, and Singapore centuries ago, and over generations intermarried with local Malays. From that union, a unique culture was born. So normally Peranakans are quite rich, and these are their houses. There's not many Peranakans left in Singapore, but there's actually still quite a lot here in Penang. Oh, they went here. Wow, they went. In 2017.
Yes, please. How many of you? 3. 75 ringgit.
Walking in feels like stepping through time. Oh my god, Peranakan houses are so nice. Insane. A blend of Chinese traditions, Malay customs, and later a touch of British colonial style. There are names for like the male and females of Peranakans. So the male are called Baba, and the females is called Nyonya. I actually read a book called Emerald Hill. The book is about Peranakans, and from what I know is that every single time in a Peranakan house, in the middle there's always going to be an open area just like this. I personally have not been to a Peranakan house before, so this is really exciting for me. And Singapore have a lot of these houses too, and from outside it looks really nice too. But from inside it's even more spectacular, as you can tell. They always decorate their houses with the most luxurious things ever. So if you see their traditional costume, it looks like a baju kurung. That's like the Malay culture part, and they also speak like Malay. But then they are still Chinese, so you see the decorations is very Chinese inspired. Some people call me Peranakan because I'm mixed Malay and Chinese, but actually no, I'm not Peranakan because Peranakans are fully Chinese, but they are following the Malay culture. I am still partly Malay, so I'm not Peranakan. Christmas was just a few days ago, so I think that's why. Fully decorated with Christmas trees. So this is one of their rooms. Even their tiles and floors really nice. The paintings that they have, I guess those are some of the nyanyas and babas just on the wall. You can also see their fascination with colonial aesthetics. The blend of East and West was their way of showing sophistication and status in Penang's golden age, when style was a sign of wealth. You can actually rent those kebayas outside if you guys want to. A lot of people wearing kebayas outside taking pictures. that's another part of the house, I guess. You can go upstairs too, but you have to remove your shoes. Wow. It's laid out like a living museum. Grand reception halls, private quarters, and large kitchen, and servant quarters that once kept the household running in perfect rhythm. So this is a bridal place. Inside, the display rooms are filled with delicate wedding attire, jewelry, and ceremonial artifacts. Walking through these rooms, past more than 1,000 antiques and heirlooms, it's hard not to admire this unique heritage, so rich yet so rare. Every corner tells a story of Chinese craftsmanship, Malay warmth, and European flair. So this is what I mean by Arabic influence. The Peranakans were big believers in feng shui. You'll notice partitions at doorways to block evil spirits, and water features meant to bring in wealth and good luck. Even their courtyards were built to let in sunlight and air. Because this is where babies sit. That's an example of it. But after that, once the baby grow up and it can't fit inside anymore, it can still be turned into a chair like this. So you can still sit down there. So you can reuse it, you don't have to throw it away. That is genius. The old kitchen's been turned into a shop selling bird nest products, a traditional Chinese delicacy, once reserved for the wealthy.
Have you heard of Gui Ling Gao? This one also got bird nest. If you have a heaty body, you eat this, is very good. So this one is white fungus, red dates, and longan, and gravels of bird nest inside. It's a dessert drink.
Okay guys, we decided to get a bottle of actual bird nest. It's a bit more expensive. Wow. This culture was born from a unique moment in time, when trade, migration, and colonial influence came together to shape the Peranakan identity, a moment in history that can never be repeated. Now we're gonna go to our next destination, which is a mosque. So let's go there. It's around a 10-minute walk from here. Look guys, that is one of the oldest church in Penang. It's also in our itinerary, but we're gonna go to a masjid first. We'll have to give it a miss this time due to our tight schedule. A short walk ahead, we pass the Goddess of Mercy Temple, or Kuan Yin Temple, one of the oldest and most revered Chinese temples in Pinang. The air is thick with incense, and even from the street, you can spot those towering joss sticks. Then comes the Sri Mahamariamman Temple, dedicated to the Hindu goddess Mariamman. We're actually standing at the back of the temple, so you can see a partial view of stunning Gopuram, the colourful tower filled with sculptured deities and mythological scenes. It's incredible to realize that all these religious sites have stood side by side here for centuries. We couldn't help but stood in disbelief. We came looking for a mosque and somehow walked past 3 different houses of worship, all within a few steps of each other. If that's not harmony, what is? And speaking of faith, just around the corner lies the Kapitan Keling Mosque, another timeless symbol of this city's living harmony. This is the oldest mosque in Georgetown, located at one end of the Street of Harmony, now officially Jalan Masjid Kapitan Keling, previously called Pitt Street. The mosque remains active today, so if you're visiting, it's better to come outside of prayer times. At the front stands the elegant minaret. The ground floor of the minaret also houses the Islamic Information Center, though it seemed quiet when we were there. It was built by Indian Muslim traders from South India. The community was led by Medin American, known by the title Kapitan or Captain. The word Keling referred to the Indian Muslim community, literal translation meaning the captain of the Kelings. So the mosque became known as the Kapitan Keling Mosque. The mosque began as a simple rectangular prayer hall, but after 5 major renovations, it has transformed into the beautiful complex we see today, complete with grand domes, graceful arches, and a peaceful garden courtyard. If you look closely, you can still see traces of the mosque's original structure, subtle details that reveal the many layers of history preserved within these walls. Situated at the corner of Buckingham Street and Pitt Street, you can find multiple entrances and exits to the mosque compound. And interestingly, there's even a small cannon within the compound, though we're not sure why it's there. Standing here, surrounded by domes, spires, and shrines of different faiths, you really begin to understand what makes Georgetown so special. And just beyond the mosque lies the lively heart of Penang's Indian community.
Little India is over here as well. We also saw a food museum which we're thinking to go to later, so if you don't know, Georgetown got a lot of street art, including one over there. There's a fire station over there, which looks really cool. And now we're gonna go to Little India just to see a bit, and after that we'll go to a museum. So here it is.
One street you can't miss is Cheah Street, or Labu Cheah. The name comes from Cheah, used for Indians from the coastal areas of Tamil Nadu. Back in the day, Cheah Street was the heart of the settlement.
A lot of flowers here, but this is in Little India. It is part of their culture.
Some nearby streets to check out are Market Street, Queen Street, King Street, Pinang Street. These neighborhoods started taking shape in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, when South Indian immigrants were among Georgetown's earliest settlers, and their presence still shapes Little India today. Even now, it's lively and full of color. You can smell the spices, hear the music, and feel the energy of people going about their day.
Oh my god, wait, I know this.
Oh, you know this, right?
Yeah, I know. Pani Puri.
Apparently, people say it's really nice.
Yeah.
Little India is a living story. The streets, smells, and sounds all tell the tale of Penang's earliest Indian settlers. The Indian settlers built a self-contained community that preserved their language, faith, and culture, and their spirit is still alive today. Just around the corner is the Wonder Food Museum, which shows Malaysia's culinary history and how migration shaped the island's flavors. And yes, you can actually touch and hold all the food. Before we move on, we stop at Kapitan restaurant on Cheah Street for crispy roti canai and cup of teh tarik.
Selamat datang ke restoran Kapitan.
Because honestly, the best way to experience Little India is through its food, its energy, and its people. From here, the vibe changes. Our walk continues toward one of the most creative corners of Georgetown.
So, Armenian Street is actually not far away from the place that we want to go to. But over here is actually the Armenian Park. There's a lot of the Chinese lanterns. I think because Chinese New Year is coming soon. And the flowers that they put here are so pretty. Although they are fake. Right now, we are gonna go walk and see the street arts we have located where it is. It's very near to this Armenian park. There is some at Cheah Street and also Armenian Street. So I think Armenian Street is over here. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go start on the first one, which is the boy on chair artwork, and we will be going in, but we have to turn in.
Most visitors come here for the street art. Like us, you can grab a map from your hotel and you can start exploring.
There's a cat artwork. You know what? This is even worse. There's a rat right beside the cat. Is the cat alive? I think it is.
Beyond the murals, Armenian Street is deeply rooted in history. Despite its name, the street was never predominantly Armenian. Only a small Armenian community lived here in the 1800s. Over time, Chinese and Malay families moved in, shaping the area into a lively mix of cultures, trades, and stories. Though only 200 meters long, this narrow, charming lane is lined with art galleries, souvenir shops, cafes, rows of heritage shophouses with wooden shutters, and 5-foot walkways that blend colonial and local influences. And, of course, those famous murals that helped out Penang on the world map.
It's not this though. So we saw the next one, which is actually on the door over here. It's called Magic. I feel like this kind of reminds me of Hajjali in Singapore. So the next one that we have to find is L. Cats and humans happily living together.
But here's the thing, not all Georgetown's murals are found on this street.
Hello Kitty. Quite hard to find the street art. Oh shoot. The famous one.
The world famous Little Children on a Bicycle by Ernest Zakharov. It's right here on Armenian Street.
But that's not the shape of my love.
So now we're gonna go find for the next street art, which is my own cafe. There's a lot of rickshaws here that you can actually take, and these rickshaws actually can bring you around the street arts as well.
In fact, searching for Penang's mural could easily be a full walk of its own. Hunting them down becomes a kind of treasure trail.
Where is it? We found out that the My Own Cafe artwork is actually inside a cafe actually. So we decided not to go in. So here's slightly quieter. It's gone. Guys, over there is supposed to be the giant cat, but it has faded off. Look at this. What is this? There's cat. A lot of cat murals here. So we're gonna go this side to try to find. For the next one, it should be somewhere here, but I can't seem to find. But we also have to take note that some of it have faded, so that's why you can't see them. Okay guys, so there is some murals, some artworks here.
But on this walk, we are seeing the art as part of something bigger. Not just murals, but the temples, clan houses, and shop houses that together tell Georgetown's story of living heritage.
Now we're gonna go walk to Cheah Kongsi. We're gonna go see their house. So it basically belongs to the Cheah family. It's like very big and like a museum now. If you're a student, you can show your student card, and then it's only 2 ringgit. If not, you have to pay 10 ringgit for adults. So now we're inside the Cheah Kongsi house over here. Not many people.
They were among the earliest Chinese settlers here, along with the Ku, Yo, Lim and Tan clans. The Cheah clan formed what became known as the 5 big clans of Penang's Hokkien community.
So this must be like their kitchen. So you can see this is what they used last time. These are called pinkets. They used to keep food.
Back then, when Chinese immigrants arrived in a new land, those who shared the same surname would naturally group together for support. Sharing a surname meant belonging to the same ancestral family, and under Confucian teachings of filial piety, it was their duty to look out for one another.
Can't believe people used to live in these style houses. So there's a lot of these like QR codes that you can scan in here, and you can see the video, and it can help you understand about the space better. Chinese families, their house would have this. So this is their worship room. I've never seen this in a Chinese house before. But this, they have a whole room dedicated to this. Wow, they have their own temple too. So this is the Cheah Kongsi ancestral hall. So they pay their respect to the ancestors.
What makes Cheah Kongsi stand out is its mix of architectural influences, Chinese, Malay and even European. Though not Peranakan, Cheah Kongsi shares some of the strait's Chinese charm, detailed craftsmanship, open courtyards and a design that mirrors Penang's multicultural influences of the era.
So the Cheah family, they have like their own, like the school here, they do everything here.
This house looks partly like a temple, partly a community hall, and partly a museum.
This is like another. So this is another worship room. You got a lot of it. Wow, they must be very filial piety. So this must be all the ancestors. There's some dim over there.
那边还有一间。
哦
前面 depan ada itu apa gambar lagi
，OK
，OK 呀，
OK
你可以去看了，
OK，
要去那边看了，这样2个啊，OK， 慢慢看。
谢谢。
Another meeting room over here. But some of my relatives have the surname Cheah. In 1780 and 1790, obviously, Captain Francis Light came here. And that's when the Cheah clan also began to settle. So like remember when the British come, they brought in some Chinese. And a lot of them, people in Pinang is from Fujian. And then there's a fire that happened in Georgetown and destroyed a lot of things there. And it also shows that the Cheah clan got their first property. Oh, then Singapore took over. So Penang, they got a decline in trade. And then also have crop diseases as well. And the Cheah members are heavily involved in the trade, so I guess they suffered a lot during this time. 1840s, 1850s, so they discovered tin and it saved Penang from the decline. And also that is when the Cheah clan's ancestral hall was built. And then after that, Georgetown develops more. The Cheah clan can trace its ancestors back thousands of years, so they really have a strong root. A man by the name Shenbo was born in the Zhou dynasty. The emperor at the time granted him the county of Xie, and therefore generations after him adopted the county name Cheah as their surname. Yeah, why is it Cheah and turned to Cheah? Oh, because the writing of the Cheah clan, right? The heart is Cheah. Oh, so it started from Shenbo. That means Shenbo was like a long time ago. Look, 1046 to 256 before Christ. But they can really trace back all the way. That's insane. So they're from quite a noble family, really. So the pioneer settler that came here from China, the very first one, is named Cheah. So the people here, they actually worship their ancestors.
The Cheah Kongsi is the oldest of the major clan houses, and walking through its courtyard, you can feel the weight of history. The story of people who built a home away from home and whose legacy still stands proudly today.
Okay, so we're done visiting the Cheah Kongsi. I think their history is so fascinating. I mean, honestly, because like I kind of relate to it, so that's why I find it interesting. But I guess you guys can also give it a try as well. So we're gonna go to the Jetties. So I'll tell you guys more about the history of that. So because a lot of Chinese, they come to Penang. When they live on the land, they had to pay tax. But they didn't want to pay tax because it's expensive for them. They just moved here. They don't have a lot of money, don't they? So they made a deal with the British. If we live on the water, we don't have to pay tax. And the British was like, okay. So that's why their houses are on the water, which are the jetties. There's different jetties and they all belong to different families, different clans, or they call it different kongsis. One of the very big ones is the Jetty. So the free bus, CAT, C-A-T, is only in Georgetown. And it's only around Georgetown. It starts from the terminal. And it's also near the jetties, the Kongsi jetties. So we're just gonna go walk to the terminal. So we are near like the jetties. You can see the ocean over there.
Jetty is right along Weld Quay, just a short walk from the Weld Quay bus terminal.
There are hotels here as well. If you want to stay right next to the jetty. So we're gonna go past the traffic light over here. Bus terminal. But we're gonna walk further down. Wow. So this is one of the Kongsi jetties. This place smells very fishy. I wanna walk there. Let's go. So we're gonna go up to the jetties now. So these are some people's houses over here. I'm just really scared that this breaks. But I guess not, since people here have lived for many years. Some of the jetties are really big and some of it is not. Oh, this one is really big, their house. Look at this. This is what their house is standing on. It's actually a bit scary. I'm a bit scared. You can see the bridge. Is that the Pinang bridge? From what I know, it's one of the longest bridges in Asia. There's another family's jetty over there, another Kongsi jetty.
Today, 7 jetties remain, each linked to a specific clan: the Lims, Chews, Tans, Yos, Lis, and others, who lived and worked side by side, supporting each other through trade and kinship.
So this is the Lim jetty,
one of the longest clan jetties. This wooden settlement was damaged during World War II, but was rebuilt afterwards. Lim Jetty feels quiet and lived in. Families still occupy the stilted homes, and there's even a small temple here. Walking through it, you really get the sense of stepping into people's home. It doesn't feel like a tourist attraction at all. From Lim Jetty, we move on to Cheah Jetty, the largest and most famous of them all. With around 75 houses and an estimated 700 residents, it's impossible to miss. With a steady stream of visitors, this one definitely feels like the jetty to see.
I can already tell this place is very popular. They got a lot of shops here. They got ice cream. Whoa. Wait, let's go in. Some of it houses. Here are shops, I think, because there's a lot of tourists that come here.
But it's important to remember these are real homes for real families, descendants of the original settlers who arrived during Penang's port glorious days. They settled here close to the water where they worked, bringing their families from China.
Let me try this nutmeg juice.
Barang makan. Ini dalam dia punya food buah boleh makan. Pirang.
Very nice. I really like it. Okay, let's go try it. They got a cafe here. Looks nice. Is that bingsu?
Yeah.
I would like some of that right now. This is where people houses are. I wonder how they feel. So many people passing by their houses every day. They even got vending machines here. Oh my god. Wow, this one. Accessories. Yeah, you know you can get this. They got a lot of food in here. Oh my god, they got fried ice cream. They got ice ball too, which Penang is very famous for.
So many things here.
I know, right? Oh my god, I want to be part of the trip. They got the ice ball in. There's another jetty over there. And they got a huge temple. They got a lot of shops here. Pokemon.
And you can even take boat tours further out to sea, offering a unique perspective of Georgetown. Cheah Jetty feels like a floating village. Its wooden houses, built with durable local timber, still preserve the traditions and customs of previous generations. This jetty is the only one with murals painted by Singaporean artist Yip Yu Chong.
Hey guys, this ice ball is no color because it's lychee flavor. Wow. This spoon is useless. This spoon is useless. There's such thing as halal ice. I didn't know that.
Together, Cheah Jetty and the rest of other clan jetties are living testaments to the resilience of Penang's early Chinese settlers, families who built homes over the sea and whose descendants still keep that legacy and tradition alive today. No journey through Penang is complete without talking about food. So consider checking out these places for halal food. To see where we get halal food near all the famous sites, we have a dedicated video on halal food in Penang. Link is in the description below. But to add on, here are a few more places worth highlighting. At Lebu Keling, you can find plenty of halal food.
They got a lot of shops here. You can eat laksa here, you can eat dim sum here, you can do some shopping here. Look at this Chinese Muslim food. They even have mochi over there. Penang world famous laksa. Oh my god.
Beside Midin, near Pinang Road, you can find street food stalls, many of them halal, serving quick bites like mee goreng and nasi lemak. It's a more local, down-to-earth eating experience. And the best part, all these food spots are just a short walk from where we end our heritage walk at Jetty. So it's easy to wrap up your walk with a good meal. Along the way, you'll probably stumble upon plenty of halal food options too. That's the charm of Penang. You don't have to look for food. Food finds you. Food in Penang is part of the city's identity. Every dish tells a story of migration, adaptation, and community. And that's the end of our walk through Georgetown's heritage zone. Within just a few steps, you can move from a mosque to a temple, from a mansion to a jetty, and somehow it all fits together. That's the magic of Penang. Georgetown isn't just a city of the past, it's a living story that continues to evolve. Thanks for walking with us. Until we bring you travel again. Bye!